Welcome to Art Should Be Illegal, a podcast about art and whether it holds any kind of value to society. My name is Liv, my pronouns it and she, and I'm white.
Oh, no.
My name is Annie, my pronouns are she and her, and I am also alabaster white.
My name is Elissa, my pronouns are she and they, and I am actually probably the whitest person here.
You're absolutely right. And the reason why I felt it was important to spring this on my co-hosts and also on all of the unsuspecting audience is that we have listened to the recording of a play from 1968 called The Black Mars, which is quite a thing.
I want to apologize to the Nation of Islam in advance.
I don't want to apologize to the nation of Islam. They don't deserve apologies. They killed Malcolm X.
I read up on this, on the Nation of Islam. I have only ever heard about it in popular media. And that is some New Age fringe bullshit.
Absolutely.
Like, it's them and the people who believe in, like, the Nordic gods again, who aren't Nazis, supposedly. It's like, it's weird. Just read the Quran or something if you want to have a holy book containing the truth.
It is the most made up bullshit. It was most like, I'm not reading all that, but I got some ideas kind of thing.
Black Mass is a play from the 60s written by Amiri Baraka, who is like he's known for revolutionary theater. He worked with Sun Ra a few times and very famously, well, not famously, but very notably in this. It was a time.
And just a note, I didn't get a lot out of this recording, mainly because the recording is really, really bad.
It is not.
Not in that the content is bad, but the recording is just dog shit.
The content is bad too. But so this happened.
Wait, are we gonna have conflict?
Wait, you do not believe in the gospel that the white race was created by a bad dude?
Annie really enjoyed this.
Oh no!
Oh, how could you enjoy this? It was awful.
Okay. So a little background here. So this was made by Sun Ra and Amiri Baraka during the mid 60s when they were both part of the same art collective that they called the Black Arts Repertory Theater / School. So it was BARTS.
BARTS, like the
that sounds base as hell. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know what they did or what they got into, but on the face of it, it sounds amazing. Yeah. Is this the point where you tell me, and actually also they, children?
I don't know anything about that.
No, I don't think so. I think they just made weird shit, did shitty little plays, and Sun Ra was Sun Ra, weird jazz guy.
I don't know if they did anything to children, but one thing they did do is they were invited to Cuba by Castro in an attempt to mainstreamify Cuba for Americans, and this trip radicalized the hell out of Baraka.
Yeah, he's kind of I don't know. We'll get to that later. He's kind of a piece of shit at the time that this thing was written.
A little bit. Yeah,
and also later on, he was also quite the piece of shit.
He's also not an amazing person, but he comes a long way.
His Wikipedia article is very, very, very long. But most of it is just, and then he did this bullshit, and it's not great. But also, he's a great artist, and we sort of have to respect that bit. At least he's dead. So, we've got that going for us.
It's like when you read the Wikipedia page for Lyndon LaRouche, except for the parts where he did good stuff, because Lyndon LaRouche didn't do any good stuff. But it is just a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a short play. It's 30 minutes.
Yeah.
If you're real.
It's 35 minutes.
If you the recording is 35 minutes.
And a lot of that is people just sort of whooping and hollering.
Yeah, and also a lot of it is just the setup of it. Hey, please take your seats. We're about to begin, which is also included in the recording.
Yeah. Important point about the recording. It is literally just a guy in the audience with a 1960s microphone bootlegging this play.
Okay, that's pretty. I love it, but I also hate it. I mean, that's amazing art in and of itself, but also it's so shit that record. I
so
cannot
bad.
emphasize enough how bad recording is. And Elissa, I hope you'll like clip in a little bit of recording.
And so I will on where I am moving, where my eternal mind takes me into the voice of black space where new meaning lives.
There is no new meaning. We are your brothers and we know everything.
It is a fool's game to invent what does not need to be invented. Let us be fools, for creation is its own end.
Yeah, not only is the recording bad, but the acting is so painful. I mean,
No,
as
that's where you're wrong.
As stage
That is where
acting
you're
goes,
wrong.
it's probably very good because stage acting
No!
isn't real acting. It is false act. It is false acting, I say. This stage
No!
acting thing. It
Elissa,
is
you
not
don't
very
understand.
good at all.
Elissa,
Would you say
just
perhaps
don't-
the stage acting is stilted?
Elissa, you have completely missed the point of this play.
I don't think I have. I think I know exactly what the point of this fucking play is.
Oh, please enlighten me, because
so
I think it's just a dramatization and an excuse to play some jazz and also say Whitey bad. And I mean, I agree with that last bit, but it is a little.
For Sun Ra, this was 100% just a chance to be a fucking weirdo. He didn't believe a word of this shit, and I appreciate that so much. For Baraka, he believed about half of this.
An important. Okay, so just getting into the artistry of a Black Mass, it is a very like ancient Greek style of play. Like it's just a couple of dudes yelling at each other in real time. There's one scene, they don't go anywhere, they don't really do anything, they just talk into each other, and some shit happens, and then it ends. So it's like your Aeschylus, your Euripides, that kind of deal. And as for the content of it, as for the acting of it, it's intentional. It's supposed to be like that. Because these dudes are from ancient space Mecca.
It's bad acting.
supposed
It's bad acting. It's just guys.
They're not supposed to be
yelling at each other like children. They sound like children doing a play, but with adult voices.
They're not supposed to be normal humans, and you know that because when the women show up later, they accidentally act normal, which reveals some misogyny on the part of Baraka. But I can get to that.
He's got plenty of that to go around.
Is this?
The acting makes me feel like I'm watching Fun in Balloon Land.
No, you're at the bottom of the ocean, where I am the king. You are welcome. What can I do for you?
I just have fun wandering around here. I want to shake hands with the octopus.
Oh, also a really important thing for me to say, just because I enjoyed this on an artistic level, I do not agree with a single thing they said.
Very good.
I don't know. I think that maybe perhaps white people were made by a rogue agent of God.
Actually, I do agree with some things they said.
Are white people inherently terrible? I mean, history has certainly told that story.
I agree that touching a white person does make you insane.
So I'll start.
Yes.
I'll start the plot as such as it is.
Actually, if you could just summarize the plot for us.
Yeah, I'll summarize the entire plot. It'll take me like 2 minutes. So we have 3 ancient space mecha scientists, and I'm not like exaggerating when I say any of that. They're chatting. So in the original story of Yakub, they're all like bioscientists, although Baraka has adapted it where 2 of them are alchemists and Yakub is the only biological scientist. And that is an important change that he's made to the story. Anyway, Yakub starts talking about how like, I made time. I invented time. And like, and the way I did that was I made animals that that spit out time. They vomit out time. And then he says, my creatures will crowd the universe. So we're just getting some like character establishment. Like this Yakub guy is really full of himself.
These guys are already super steamed about him inventing time. They're like, time's fucking bullshit. What kind of animal wants time? And he's like, nobody wants time. He's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking create an animal that wants time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish they went into why they're angry at him for inventing time, because that does seem kind of key to a lot of things.
I believe they say that they're at the start they're just rejoicing in their blackness and drinking of the potion. And
they're just,
comes and fucks everything up by introducing time to the mix. What do you mean I gotta wear a watch, you piece of shit?
And like, there's some really interesting philosophy happening here. Like, they're like, you can't create new things. You can't create something that is beyond the human mind because, like, you're a human. You have a human mind. You can't make things that you can't conceive of.
All of these things already exist. You can rearrange them, but you cannot create something new. There is conservation of mass and energy. It's an interesting approach.
It's interesting. And then Yakub is like, that's bullshit. I'm cool. I can do that.
Check it out. I made time, which presumably means that he also made like trains, right? And trains are kind of cool.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's impossible to say if he's truly good or bad.
Yeah, well, it's like you can't make trains unless you make them run on time.
Well, yeah, you can't have time without trains. Trains invented time. He invented time, therefore he must have invented trains.
Exactly. You get it.
Yeah.
I mean, by the transitive property, he also invented imperialism. So, like,
again, impossible to say if Dr. Yakub is good or bad.
Okay, I think
very
we can
morally
say Dr. Yakub
complex
is
figure.
bad. I think we can pretty definitively say that Dr. Yakub is bad.
I don't know. I mean, is he meant to be like the devil, or what's going on here? I mean, I'm gonna put on my weird Protestant hat and go like, everything must be seen as a fight between good and evil, where there's God and the devil.
Do you want me to actually engage with that question?
Please do.
Yes.
Yakub is the demiurge.
Go on.
What's a demiurge?
In Gnosticism, the demiurge is the being that presents itself as God, while the true God, the greater superior being, is like blocked out of interaction with humans. So in Gnosticism, like Yahweh is not really God. That's fake. He's the demiurge. That's Yakub.
Okay. Or was that time?
That's just like that's an invention of Baraka, by the way. The whole time thing, that's not part of the original story.
This is just
I
him
did some
complaining
research
about people wanting him to be on time.
Yeah, so I think that's him complaining about white culture. How white culture is very like white people be Russian.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I did some research on the story of Yakub so that I could make sense of what was going on because
perfect.
Boy, was that a lot.
Yes,
like it was a very short thing, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and
so
Yakub's
then
argument here is that they're saying time is evil. This is bullshit. Yakub's argument is that time is knowledge, and knowledge is inherently good. It cannot be evil. There's a little bit of a back and forth.
Yeah. There and then okay. Then we get this whole thing about like this new being that he's like they refer obliquely to the new being over and over. It's white people. He made a white people.
Yeah. He made a white beast that creates madness.
Yes. And so like they're talking about white people over and over. They're saying like, oh, white people love time and time is evil, so white people are evil. And then Yakub is like, nah, time is knowledge, which means white people are smarter than black people. I think that's the whole Yakub thing. I didn't say that. Yakub said it. I don't believe that. Important. I do not endorse this message.
And at this point of the thing, it becomes really apparent that this is made by a really specific kind of guy who thinks that good acting is just being really loud and annoying. I need to emphasize how bad this acting is because I was cringing the entire time.
No, it's good. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, so the part of the creation argument they're making is that knowledge is just repetition, presumably of whatever you were already told. And that's interesting, but like they're very transparently not going for like a deeper philosophical point than I shouldn't have to do book learning, and like this is expressly anti-intellectual.
Yeah, so that is a big problem with this story, is that like we know that Yakub is obviously evil because at the end of the play they said, let's do a jihad and kill all the whiteys.
Yes.
So spoilers. But at the same time, these guys suck. The quote unquote good guys, they're just like, we don't want to do anything. We just want, the thing is, maybe I'm just not the audience. Here's the thing. I'm white. Maybe I don't get it. Maybe I just don't get it. I am willing to accept that.
It was peace and happiness, and people had the entire day to relax and have a good time. And then white people came along with their clocks.
But I, as a white person, thinks that sounds awful. Not doing anything all day sounds like shit.
Right.
Anyway, so then he like, but a bunch of women show up. And I had to read the transcript for this, like the original script. They show up and the guys are like, we don't want you here, but it's fine. You can stay, because they're misogynists. That's really it. They're there to set up a later plot point. And then Yakub reveals his white man.
Yeah, he's twisted. He sounds like creation, and he sounds like the reaction to just, oh, it's horrible. Oh God, it's so idiot.
No. The little white guy is just like, he sounds like a little goblin, and he's going, white, me, white.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I would have loved to see the stage play, because I think that particular reveal must be amazing.
Because Sun Ra was in charge of it. But
it's
really funny to imagine, as they're all screaming about how disgusting this thing is, to imagine that it's just like a regular like white dude who like has kind of a neck beard and eats Doritos and frags, and everyone's screaming and losing their minds at like
they're talking
goon.
They're talking. They're talking specifically about white people that are like into time. They're talking about like a Wall Street banker. So this is a guy in like a tuxedo with a Rolex, like on a cell phone saying, sell it. That's the kind of guy that they're screaming about.
I am curious if they used an actual white guy or if they had a black guy in white face.
God, I hope it was a black guy in white face.
Same.
I was hoping it was just like they have found a really annoying white guy, but now that you mention white face, I am in favor.
Yeah. So then
that is hilarious.
He touches a white woman and he touches a black woman and steals her black.
Yeah. And
that's
like,
how he reproduces.
Cackling.
She sounds like a little witch.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I guess the whiteness is spreading and destroying everything.
Yeah. And then let's see. The black people say the white people smell like pig.
Yeah, and they're not, the white man's heart is full of numbers and cold formulas.
Okay.
I mean, and as a whitey, true.
We didn't mention it, but like throughout all of this, Sun Ra's music is like giving an amazing emotional through line.
The music is bananas and amazing.
The music is unimpeachable.
It is frantic. It is chaotic. It is the most coherent thing Sun Ra ever did.
Like the music works so well for like the emotional narrative happening. And then it freaks out, and they get pissed off at Yakub and the whiteys, and they send them to the north and say, don't come back. And then it ends with somebody talking directly to the audience, talking about white people, and says, let us find them and slay them.
Yes.
Which is kind of wild when you're ostensibly in Harlem. There are white people like outside the building.
There are probably a couple of white people in the audience.
I would be feeling really uncomfortable at that point. I'd be like, I'm against imperialism, guys, but like, you literally just said kill me.
I don't know. Part of me feels the same, yes, but another part of me is like, you know what? Let's give it a go. See who comes out on top.
Well, to be fair, yeah, I did write "fuck yeah" after that in my notes. So clearly, at the time, I was pretty into it.
One more quick note about the numbers and cold formulas thing. It does reinforce my earlier, like, what if this guy's just kind of a neckbeard that they're looking at thing. It kind of does just sound like they're talking about an autistic guy, and it's a weird place to put your hatred.
No, I think you're reading something into that, Elissa. I don't think that's what I am going for.
Although, I mean, in the tradition of the Nation of Islam, Yakub is talked as the big-headed one.
Okay,
he's the nerd of the nerds.
Have you ever seen an illustration of Yakub? Like his head is like a mushroom.
That's
crazy.
That's got to be the episode art, by the way.
Okay.
And so that's really the whole play. It's very short. It's very tight. I liked it for what it was. Would I say that you should go out and see it? No, but I think it's a really interesting time capsule.
There's a weird part in there, right at the end, where Yakub is like, I'll teach people, I'll teach the white people to be civilized, and they're just like, fuck that, no, we got to ship them off, get them the fuck out of here, which like makes Yakub seem like the good guy.
Yeah, this play is very confused about who the good guy
he is not.
Yeah. Like, I can read the NOI lore and be like, Yakub sounds like a pretty shitty dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's made out to be the worst. Although I haven't read an accounting of the rest of the founder creators in the Nation of Islam. So like maybe it's like a Greek deity thing where like, yeah, he's bad, but like he didn't fuck his sisters.
Well,
or rape a swan. So like,
okay, that's
who's among us?
No. So that's actually a great jumping off point for me to talk a bit more about the story of Yakub in general.
How is that a great jumping off point?
Well, talking about like the other figures.
Okay. Let's hear about the other figures.
Not the raping a swan part. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is a position of the podcast that perhaps you should not rape waterfowl.
I love doing this podcast so much.
Okay, so my research...
Actually, no, addendum, if you do it, please wear protection, so we don't have, like, half-deity offspring, because that is a mess. If Nordic and Greek traditions have taught us anything, it is that, like, half-deity anyone is messy and problematic.
Okay.
Also, don't kill your dad to make the world. It's not gonna end well.
Don't try to kill your children out of jealousy. That's not gonna end well for you.
Yeah,
never does.
God, no.
Never does.
This podcast takes a strong stance against, killing and eating your children.
What do you call killing your children? Like there's patricide for killing your
oh, that's an interesting question.
Your dad. What do you call killing your children? I mean kinslaying, but
oh, it's called filicide.
Okay. Filicide.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I mostly skimmed. I didn't do like a really deep dive onto this stuff. I have like a page of notes at most. But I read Black Mass as Black Gothic by Alendra Nelson. And I read The Secret of Who the Devil Is by Stephen Finley, which is found in Viewpoints on the Nation of Islam, which was a series of essays written by Dawn Marie Gibson and Herbert Berg. Those are my main sources here. I didn't actually read the NOI literature because I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so like just a general breakdown of the story of Yakub, and then like some different flavors of Yakub which exist because there are offshoots of the NOI, the Nation of Islam. So Yakub was a scientist that lived in Mecca 6,600 years ago. He discovered Coulomb's law, which is they always refer to as the forces of attraction and repulsion. It's basically what causes mass and matter to work. It's like it's talking about the attraction and repulsion between two or more charged particles.
Okay.
You've got positive, they go away from each other. That's the repulsion part. Positive, negative, that's the attraction part. Okay. So he was a successful scientist in the ancient Mecca, although he was from the suburb of Mecca. I don't know why that matters, but they're very specific about that.
Okay.
He's a suburbanite.
That's how you know he's evil. Okay. This is all
Yeah,
this is all coming
exactly.
together.
Yeah.
He's a suburbanite.
That's where the
Therefore Nazi.
evil.
So he discovered Coulomb's law at the age of 6 when he was playing with steel magnets. Steel is not magnetic.
Some steel is magnetic. Hold your horses.
Why don't these fucking things work? And thus a scientist was born.
Okay, actually, I might have just said something really wrong, in which case.
Oh.
It's staying in.
Is steel magnetic? No.
Some kinds of steel are magnetic.
Okay. Oh no, I'm so embarrassed. Okay.
Don't be. It does not matter.
No, it doesn't matter. And then
Not
he
for
went
this.
Stakes are extremely low here.
He learned everything there was to learn from Mecca University, which sounds way sicker than it is. By the age of 18. And then he decided he wanted to invent white people. I don't understand why he wanted to do that. It was something about like he discovered that there were black germs and brown germs in people.
Wait, so
and
in this...
he decided to let me finish. He decided that he wanted to like breed out the dominant.
His plan is just like
melanin.
make someone that was immune to germs.
No, by germ I mean like a germinal cell. Like a gamete. like a sperm.
This is a world
or an egg.
ravaged by sickness, but I have the
No,
cure.
no.
I will create a white man that will only spread disease,
No.
not be afflicted by it himself.
So he basically did a bunch of eugenics to make white people, and like he accidentally made all the other races while doing that. It's like it's an absolute acid trip of a creation myth.
Yeah. It was almost certainly invented by somebody that was on acid.
Yeah, I was going to say, but like, where do black people come from in this creation myth? Do they just exist?
Oh, okay. I was going to get to that. So as far as I know, the original like normal style Nation of Islam doesn't really have where they come from. They come from God, like Allah. You know, it's still Islam ostensibly. So they were created by God, but they don't go a whole lot into the background of it. Nuwabian. Yeah, Nuwabian. Sorry, the Nuwabian offshoot has galactic battles that happened 17 million years ago.
Hell yes.
Fuck yes, it's some Scientology shit.
Yes.
Oh shoot! No, wait! I forgot a really important point. Before Yakub, before Mecca, and all of that, everyone lived on the moon. And one guy got really pissed off that people on the moon didn't all speak the same language, so he blew it up.
It's a shame that the moon is gone. It would have been nice to have seen the moon.
Yeah. So part
I
of
would
the
have
moon
loved
became
to be influenced by the moon.
Part of the moon became Earth.
Oh.
Okay. So that's why I call them Space Mecca, because they're like from the moon. Okay.
Okay.
To continue on. They talk about, let's see. He did this all on the island of Patmos, which is in the Aegean Sea. It's a real place.
Oh, that's cool.
It is where St. John of the Bible is allegedly from. It's where St. John received the visions that created the book of Revelation, allegedly. Also, Yakub is Jacob. And Malcolm X asserted that Jacob of the Bible was Yakub.
Interesting.
Yeah. This rabbit hole goes deep.
It seems that way. And none of it is it's making less sense the deeper you go, it seems like.
Yeah, that's my experience of it. So after white people were made and they were all banished to the caves of the north, some of the white people tried to become black people, but they failed. And this gets really racist really fast.
Fuck.
The white people that tried to be black people became gorillas and monkeys.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the Nation of Islam's mouth to our ears.
Yeah. Moses was... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, can you actually be racist against white people? I've been mulling it over, and I usually come back to no.
It's very seldom meaningful, is the distinction.
I took that as really racist against black people.
Yeah, and like that's even pretty racist.
Oh,
That's kind of
right.
racist against.
Yeah.
That's a racist against humans.
That's just like
and
that's just
non-human
demeaning.
animals.
That is just demeaning as a human.
Yeah, like misanthropic.
Yeah. Let's see. And then the last thing that I really love about this is that Moses was sent by Allah to civilize white people, but he gave up because they sucked so bad, and he blew a bunch of them up with dynamite.
Oh, hell yes.
Dynamite.
I don't know why with dynamite.
Why did
Yeah,
you?
Nobel ain't got nothing on his ass.
Okay, and then what I was saying about the Nuwabian style of Nation of Islam is that this gets really complicated.
This shit
It's
is
some
only
straight up
confirming
Scientology.
to me that it is some like, listen, I don't need to do book learning to know what's going on. Type.
So
of
this is
bullshit.
some straight up Scientology stuff. The Ritzas, I think is what their names were. They lived on a planet that was not Earth. And they are like angelic beings created by the supreme being, which is Allah. And they like lived in a trisolar system that was very unstable. And they had like a special layer of their atmosphere that protected them from trisolar radiation. One guy was asked by God to move where he was, quote, either to a different planet or somewhere else on the same planet. So literally just somewhere. Just like go somewhere else, my friend. He said no and blew up the atmosphere. So they were then vulnerable
wow.
to the radiation. The Ritzas were then like,
Hang on,
okay.
is part of it actually that made them vulnerable to radiation? Because I feel like the people that did this, that came up with this, did not know what radiation was.
This is like in the 70s.
I guess. Okay.
Let's see. So they needed gold to fix it, and there wasn't enough gold on this planet, so they made colonies on Earth. On Earth, they basically were going to have to do manual labor and decided they didn't want to. So they ended up
Among Us.
So they ended up like turning animals into people, and that became white people. So that's the offshoot. Like,
Okay.
Yakub was one of those guys.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So you was making slaves.
Yeah. Now, in important note, I just really wanted to add this. In that offshoot version, Yakub had 2 brains, which explains why he had a big head. I'm wondering, like, Yakub's made up. You didn't have to have an explanation for a
Yakub was
thing that you
Steve
made up.
Martin character.
Yeah. It's a Star Trek problem where someone goes, this needs to have an explanation when it desperately does not.
And the way that Yakub dies in that version is that one of his brains explodes.
When he
Hell
dies,
yes.
spoilers.
Yeah, he dies. He dies in every version of old age.
I assumed he was in a cave somewhere still.
Also, apparently spoilers for Free Body Problem. I haven't watched it, but I assume it sort of crips from this thing.
I'm sorry, what does?
Free Body Problem?
I don't think it's really related to this at all. That was a Chinese book.
Okay.
I don't really like the 3-body problem, but that's more just like the writing.
Is there
I
a
think
Chinese Nation of Islam?
Oh God, probably.
I
Listen,
mean-
there's 7 billion people on this planet. There's probably at least one of everything.
So do you have more?
But
No, that was it.
Okay,
That was all I had.
So a lot of what
it's
you're-
bananas.
It's fucking
Yeah.
insane. I like how every like fake religion that came out of that era all did kind of the same thing of like space.
He loves space.
the only place not corrupted by capitalism.
Yes. Then we came to this fucking planet and capitalism was there and it ruined everything.
Bummer.
But like, yeah, you can feel in it that like it's coming out of an era that was very heavily influenced by about like every civil rights leader and half the politicians all getting assassinated in like a 5-year span.
Yeah. The 60s were like, I genuinely think that in the 60s and 70s, we were like on the brink of societal collapse.
Yeah, shit.
It must have been a wild time to be alive. Shit must have felt like the world was on fire.
Yeah. And there's this element to all of everything you were just saying, but I had originally made it a note about like my impressions of the play, which is just that there's this kind of undertone to it that boils down to I'm not the other. You're the other. You're the one that's different. I'm actually gonna oppress you. You're getting oppressed now. You can't oppress me anymore. It's like it's all very clearly made in the absence of any kind of theory that would explain what social and economic conditions lead to oppression.
Oh yeah, and like Malcolm X was a member of the Nation of Islam for quite a while, and the Nation of Islam is who killed Malcolm X. He left it and tried to reconcile a lot of these beliefs.
I thought he was killed by the
like,
FBI.
No, that was Martin Luther King.
Oh,
Hot take.
Yeah.
That is a hot take.
That's a lukewarm take.
Okay. It is technically a conspiracy theory, but I do believe it.
You can stick your hand in that take, I think.
Okay. But anyway, Malcolm X then like tried to reconcile some of these beliefs with like mainstream Islam. And one of the ways that he did that was by like maintaining the story of Yakub, but as a metaphor for like white people as essentially coming in with, oh, there was one thing that I left out of all that. In the Nation of Islam, the way that white people oppress black people is through something called tricknology.
Okay.
They lie.
Uh-huh.
They lie and
something
cheat
you get
and steal.
from pork?
That's trichinosis.
Wait, are you saying that white people lie and steal to trick black people?
Yeah. Hot take.
Well, not wrong.
I mean, historically, I mean, yeah.
No. I mean, listen, when they're right, they're right. I can't take that away.
I was going to say, in historical imperialism and also contemporary imperialism, this has been the key and the fact.
But my point is that Malcolm X ended up using the story of Yakub as more of a parable to explain essentially the race relations over the course of the last like 800 years or so.
And they killed him for it?
No, they killed him for leaving and then speaking against them.
Oh.
Yeah. They were not good people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I will say
that.
So any Nation of Islam people within the sound of my voice, come at me. I'm not afraid of you. My address is
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C.
my address is 123 Fake Street.
I can't believe that the White House isn't number one of something.
It's a little cowardly.
That is
That
kind of
seems
weird.
like a missed opportunity. Do we wanna go into the author of this play before we round off this episode?
Yeah, I have a couple of notes on him. So at the time that he did this, he was very angry about the things I was mentioning earlier, assassinations and what have you, and that's kind of what he's doing. I read a little bit of his autobiography.
Whomst among us?
Yeah, and he had nothing but bad things to say about him in this era. I will say that. Like, a good chunk of that book is him being like, "Hey, I was kind of a dumbass." And
he was like talking about himself in the past.
Yeah. And from this era, he's the term he uses to describe his worldview is that he was a stomped down cultural nationalist. And this was written in like 66, I believe.
It was first staged in 66. It was probably written in like 64, 65, I would imagine.
And by 74, he becomes a Maoist and kind of recants a lot of his shittier views. Maybe not everything, but like...
Oh, no, definitely not everything.
He was pretty misogynist, and this play is pretty misogynistic. Like, for the degree that women exist within it, they are not actual characters. I could believe that he maintains that through his life. Doesn't seem like that doesn't seem like something he would reckon
and
with.
He
I don't know.
Was also a vicious anti-Semite in this era, but by 1980 he was writing articles about like how he was recanting that. He also describes black nationalism as a bourgeois ideology at one point.
Honestly, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get into it.
That's pretty much my thoughts in a nutshell.
Honestly, like any kind of anti-liberatory nationalistic ideology is pretty bourgeois.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. He eventually sees the light and becomes a Maoist, which is, of course, fine. However, Maoism is also frequently a hiding spot for people that don't want to read actual theory.
Now, here's the thing about Maoists. I respect a Maoist.
I love
when
a Maoist.
I meet them. No, like a Maoist that you meet that is like from anywhere that's not the Imperial Core is like, I respect you. If you meet a Maoist from the Imperial Core, it's like, explain to me your politics and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should maybe read some theory from inside of the Imperial Core. There's some good shit in here. I'm fairly certain.
You have access to it.
Yeah.
It's there.
And he was very anti-communist in his earlier period. I don't know that he ever stopped being a homophobe, and I'm guessing he never stopped being a misogynist.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's a mixed bag. For Sun Ra's part, I think he was just a nerd that really liked like audio and visual art. From what I got from the book was that he was collaborating with every motherfucker in that place. And he was working on a million projects, which sounds like Sun Ra.
If I get nothing else out of the experience of listening to this, I will definitely check out more Sun Ra.
Yeah. And his worldview was like completely something that he made up himself. He had like a weird kind of hippie worldview. It's kind of interesting to look into.
I respect that.
When I say he didn't believe any of this, I mean, I truly do not believe that he believed a single word of it. And he was a little older than this group at the time.
Okay. I'd never heard of him before this.
Yeah.
I hadn't either.
He is like one of the original jazz psychosis guys. One of the guys that really just got so deep into jazz that parts of his brain started falling out and they were just replaced with random numbers.
Y'all may not know this, but I am an amateur jazz musician.
Interesting. Do you like chaotic, incomprehensible jazz?
No.
Oh.
No, not really. I went to a jazz show once where the saxophonist took his mouthpiece off of the saxophone and started playing that. And I was just like, I'm not into this.
This is not
my thing. Like, I love that you tried it. That was cool. He just wasn't a very good saxophonist. It was a three-piece band, and the saxophonist and the trumpeter were fine. It was like a $4 show. Can't complain. The drummer was on another level. He looked like a dad, and he was just like, this dude is just like rocking out. I love this for him.
Yeah, I don't have any special music talent. I just enjoy listening to it.
I've been to a similar concert, but it was a trombonist who, during the show, disassembled his trombone and then would he would keep playing, but he would like take bits off of it.
That's awesome.
That kicks so much ass.
But
it ruled.
You misspoke, Liv. They're called tromboners.
Oh yeah.
Oh, all right. Excuse me.
And that is a great note for us to start wrapping things up on.
Yeah, I've said everything I have to say about Black Mass.
It absolutely is. This was quite the ride you put us out on.
I had a great time listening to this. I
wouldn't say I had a great time listening to it. It's really bad.
I would say
it's a challenging listen.
I would say I enjoyed it. I liked my experience with this. I think people to get into how I wouldn't censor this other than I would put a giant label on it saying like, this is some pretty like horrendous stuff. Come to it for the aesthetics of it. The message is pretty awful.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe start with some other Sun Ra and then see where it takes you and then listen to this.
I would vote to ban this. It's fundamentally very reactionary in its worldview. It's doing the same kind of scapegoaty thing that you see that reactionary movements always do. But they're just kind of flipping the nouns around because they don't have any original ideas. And they're trying to flip it around and be clever and say, well, we're going to do black supremacy, but it's the same shit. It is still reaction, and they still end up in the same place in terms of their politics more broadly. They're anti-Semitic, they are anti-communist, they are homophobic, they would be transphobic, they are incredibly misogynist. They're just garden variety reactionaries. They're fascists. And I think this could be mentioned somewhere in a history book. It can be used as a cautionary tale about the perils of not doing your book learning.
The perils of jazz psychosis.
Yeah, the perils of jazz psychosis.
The dangers of not reading theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
honestly, T blockers end this.
I don't think that this particular work is a benefit to anyone. I think even its creator basically denounced its existence. And
okay.
I think on those grounds, it's kind of a no-brainer to make illegal.
Death of the author.
I think the author has input. The author has like a quarter of a step above everyone else in terms of input.
But Liv, do you agree with Elissa?
Oh yeah, this is one of those cautionary tales that says maybe not everyone should be in theater.
Well, I guess I'm outvoted, and I can then vote to not ban this with a clear conscience because it doesn't matter what I think.
Yeah. So
it goes into the big archive next to. Well, we can't speak to that, but it's in there. Don't worry about it. It's contained.
It's not quite in the Hall of Shame. It's in the Hall of Split Decisions.
It's like an SCP.
Yes.
If you listen to this and develop new ideas, maybe be careful.
Yes.
Well, that's been Black Mass.
Yes, and what an experience it was.
And this has been Art Should Be Illegal. And what an experience. What is our next treat for this wonderful board of censors?
It is.
I have my big black fill tap. My big black pen is ready.
Yes. The next pick is mine, and for mine, I'm going to usher in a new era here in episode 10 by evaluating in great detail whether or not clowns should be illegal.
Not more clowns.
My God.
No, we're not worried about specific clowns, but are the clowning arts of benefit to the
concept
to
of clowning.
Yes, the concept.
Oh my God,
of
no!
Clowning.
Very
ban it.
Interesting.
Should it be
ban it
illegal?
next?
The answer may surprise you.
No, ban it. Done.
Wow.
Next. No clowns.
Would you say that choice was mime?
I think what you'll find is clowns are everywhere and they are unavoidable. And
they are everywhere. They're in Congress.
Yeah. Whoa.
Hey.
And that's a bad enough joke to end the podcast on.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back sooner than you might expect or want to.
Definitely sooner than I want.
All right. See ya.
Bye.